Title: Woman. In the heart of a remote village, people whispered about a woman who appeared only at night, a figure draped in shadows that danced in the moonlight. She was said to roam the silent fields, her face hidden beneath a veil, her steps barely touching the ground. On a chilly autumn night, a traveler named Ethan arrived in the village. He had heard the tales, but brushed them off as old wives' gossip. Yet, curiosity gnawed at him, and he decided to stay the night, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious woman. At midnight, a soft wailing echoed through the village. Ethan, unable to resist, followed the sound to the edge of the forest. There, he saw her figure swaying, her silhouette outlined by the pale light of the moon. Her dress flowed like mist, and her hands reached out, beckoning him closer. Ethan's heart pounded as he stepped forward, entranced. But as he drew near, a chill spread through his body, paralyzing him. The woman lifted her veil, revealing hollow, dark eyes and a mouth twisted in a silent scream. Ethan tried to turn away, but her gaze held him, drawing him into a darkness that felt endless. The villagers found him the next morning, cold and lifeless, his face frozen in terror. They buried him next to others who had also encountered the woman, yet each night, her wailing continued, as if searching for her next victim. As the days passed, the village was gripped by an uneasy silence. More travelers arrived, drawn by the strange stories, but none dared to stay past sunset. Word spread that the woman was no mere ghost, she was a curse, bound to wander the earth, forever searching for those who dared to challenge her. One evening, a young woman named Clara, skeptical of the legends, came to the village. She was a historian, fascinated by old myths and eager to uncover the truth. When the villagers warned her to leave before nightfall, she only grew more determined. Armed with her notebook and a flashlight, Clara ventured into the fields, hoping to capture evidence of the ghostly figure. As night fell, a thick fog rolled over the village, blanketing the fields in an eerie silence. Clara walked deeper into the mist, her flashlight flickering as if it were fighting the darkness itself. She could feel a chill creeping over her, but her curiosity urged her forward. Then, out of the fog, a soft hum filled the air, low and sorrowful. Clara froze as a silhouette emerged before her. The woman stood only a few feet away, her figure more solid and real than Clara had expected. She wore the same dark veil, her hands reaching out, as if in plea. "Who are you?" Clara whispered, her voice shaking. But the woman only tilted her head, her hollow eyes fixed on Clara's. Clara felt a strange pull, like invisible hands reaching into her mind. Images flashed before her, echoes a past she didn't recognize. She saw the woman in a different time, wearing a white dress, smiling beneath a blue sky, and standing beside a man whose face was obscured. The vision shifted, showing Clara the woman's descent into sorrow, betrayal, and a curse placed upon her soul. Clara felt the woman's pain as if it were her own, the agony of endless nights, bound to a place where peace could never reach. "Help me," the woman's voice whispered, echoing in Clara's mind. Clara's heart raced, realizing the woman was not a monster but a trapped soul, condemned to suffer for reasons lost to time. She wanted to help, but as she reached out, the woman's hollow eyes filled with a flash of anger. The curse was too strong, consuming Clara with the same darkness, the same fate. By morning, Clara was found lying in the fields, her expression vacant, her mind lost to the curse. From that night on, some say there were two figures wandering in the mist, the original woman, and a new companion, bound to wander with her in silence for eternity. The villagers soon grew fearful of venturing out after dark, as now there were whispers of two ghostly figures roaming the fields. Rumor spread that Clara, the woman who had dared to stay, was bound to the curse herself, an eternal companion to the original spirit. But not all accepted the curse without question. One night, an elder named Samuel, who had lived in the village his entire life, decided to confront the spirits. He carried with him a journal, one that held stories passed down by his ancestors. Within its pages were sketches of the woman from the old tales, a mysterious name Evelyn, and the faint mention of a ritual that might break the curse. Samuel entered the fields, holding a candle and the journal close to his chest. He recited the words he'd studied, calling out to Evelyn, begging her to show herself. As midnight struck, a dense fog rolled in, and the air grew colder. Two figures emerged from the mist. One was the woman, her dark veil flowing in the air like smoke, and beside her was Clara, her eyes empty and lost, mirroring the woman's sorrowful expression. Samuel felt a chill down his spine, but he stood firm, clutching the journal as he began to speak. "Evelyn," he called, his voice steady but full of reverence, "if you can hear me, I know your story. I know of your pain, your betrayal. You were wronged, trapped by a curse that was never yours to bear. Let me help you find peace." The two figures stared at him, unmoving. Then, slowly, Evelyn lifted her veil. For the first time, Samuel saw her see a face both beautiful and tragic, with eyes that seemed to carry centuries of grief. Samuel opened the journal to the page where the ritual was described. He read the words aloud, an ancient incantation meant to free a spirit bound by vengeance and despair. The candle flickered as he recited the final words, his voice echoing in the darkness. Suddenly, a strong wind swept across the field, scattering the mist and sending the candle's flame soaring. The woman's face softened, her hollow eyes filling with a glimmer of humanity. Evelyn's figure began to fade, her hand reaching out one last time, a look of gratitude passing over her face. Clara, too, seemed to awaken, her vacant expression shifting to one of confusion as the curse lifted. She looked around, as if seeing the world for the first time, her memory returning slowly. She turned to Samuel, her eyes wide with relief and disbelief. Evelyn's spirit dissolved into the night, her silhouette melting into the stars above. The village was silent once more, but this time it felt lighter, as though a shadow had finally lifted. The next morning, Clara left the village, forever changed but finally free. And though the villagers would remember the story of Evelyn and her cursed nights, they no longer spoke of her with fear. Instead, they spoke of her release, a soul finally at rest, thanks to the courage of those who dared to seek the truth.